Hello, what's going on? How are you, folks? Hope you're enjoying your Thursday evening here. We are live with a Take the Initiative top 8 stream here, and it's between RebelResource and You Can Call Me Al. Two of the greatest players that I've played against. Lots of fun with these decks. I've played against both these Tarkin and the Sabine, and then I actually took this a very similar Sabine list to a store showdown this past week on Tuesday, and managed to get a second place, only losing to a Vader. That was a very tight matchup, so it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Um, Rebel Resource is from the United States, and You Can Call Me Al is from the UK, so kind of a semi worlds level event here. It'll be a lot of I don't know, interesting implications. There's two definitely I think there's two different metas between the UK and US. We'll see how that kind of plays into this. We're taking a look here at Rebel Resources list. He actually got first place at the 1K up in Madison recently, so that was a tremendous effort there. And I think this list is a lot of good pieces, and it just makes a lot of sense for what we're currently seeing in the meta. So you've got some interesting things that differ this Sabine from your green Sabines and your double red Sabines, but the overarching theme of heroic, cheap units that do a ton of damage extremely fast through the sources like Red 3, through K2, Fleet Lieutenants, and then in this list in particular, we got Heroic Sacrifice and Surprise Strike, as well as two sneak attacks, which can actually target quite a few units that you wouldn't have expected. So that is, kind of an interesting thing you can do uh, with this list is just push a ton of damage through extremely fast. And then you got your finishers with, for a cause I believe in, that can, really just flip the game on its head and give you a lot of advantage. One of the cards that I really like that I think is super underrated is the Spec Force Soldier. One costs 2/2 with a heroic symbol, so it plays very well into this list. And it has a keyword that says, when played, target unit loses Sentinel for the phase, which just helps you, again, push through that damage really fast. So yeah, I think it's pretty good against the Tarkin. Which is a little bit slower. Definitely going to be the beatdown player versus the Tarkin. It would be interesting to see if he brings in things like Wolf or Bamboozle to get rid of upgrades. I'm not sure that he does, just to keep focused on what he does best, which is pushing through that damage. So we'll take a look here at the Tarkin list by Al. I really like it. He's got a lot of good units, a lot of healing with Restore. So he's got Yularen, he's got Consortium Star Viper, and then he's got a lot of Sentinel with the, or he's got Powerful Sentinel, I should say, through the Cell Block Guard on the sideboard and the Emperor's Royal Guards in the main deck. And he definitely has the official package, so he will be able to utilize the Emperor's Royal Guard to good effect. One thing that I have noticed with this list, it doesn't have a ton of space, so that may come back to haunt him in this first game. In his sideboard, he does have some Gladiators and a Devastator, as well as another Consortium Star Viper, so he will be able to bring those in with the sideboard. But I think this first round is definitely going to be tough, considering how much space Rebel Resource runs. He is also only at 25 HP, which is much easier to hit if you're playing Sabine, just because that gap, that 5 damage gap to 30, is actually tremendous. So I think that will definitely come into play. We'll see how the Tie Fighter works out. Since it's a 2/1, it's just really low HP. But with Tarkin, he's able to buff it up to a 3/2, so he's allowed to trade with most space units, and even the Green Squadron A Wing, if the TIE Fighter has an experience on it and he can attack that A Wing, he'll only take a damage back. So that could actually be a really profitable trade for him, as well as ECLing the Consortium Star Viper in to the space units, so like the red threes, the wing leaders, to heal two, as well as take a powerful unit off the board. I think that's definitely going to be a play we're going to see quite a bit. And then the traitresses as well. That's going to be important for this matchup. So we'll have to see how things end up playing out here. It's a lot of ramp, which is, in my opinion, kind of weak against the Sabine. The more you're ramping, the less board pressure you have. So that could definitely be a point of contention. He might have to bring out, some of those commands or the resupplies just to be able to get more units on the board. Yeah. Well, we should be starting up here in the next 4 minutes. We are live, so if you have any concerns about gameplay, I know there was one of our streams a couple days ago. There was a couple of mistakes made by the players. So if you see something, say something, and I'll be sure to point it out to the players in real time here. That way we can avoid those kind of mistakes. I'm not a judge, but I do want to make sure that we're having the highest level of gameplay possible. So yeah, definitely say something in the chat, and I will be sure to forward that on to the players. Yeah. Until then, we've like I said, we've got 4 minutes here, and we will be able to get underway. Just talking to the players now, and yeah, I'll be back with you guys shortly. Stay tuned. Yeah, just one moment here, folks. Waiting for the last player to join up, and we should be live here momentarily with the game. I can go over those lists one more time just to make sure everybody saw them. This is Al's list here with the double green Tarkin. We were talking about how he's got a lot of restore power, and he's got a lot of ramps, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays in here. Not a lot of space, remember that. I think it'll be important. And then going on to the Sabine list here for RebelResource. This is a red-yellow Sabine with a lot of damage potential, very, very fast. So I think that'll be, kind of drives this game forward. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we end up. He doesn't have a lot of top end though. So if this game ends up going on for a long time, you can see that the Tarkin list here has a lot more of that top end material to shut out the Sabine. So I think that's definitely how this game will end up running. Yeah. And of course, powerful cards like Overwhelming Barrage can really mess up Sabine's day. And yeah, once Tarkin gets to 5 or 6 resources, that's where we'll see those big plays to kind of take back control of the game. Stay tuned. All right. Well, folks, we are underway. Rolling off the initiative here. And it'll go to RebelResource playing the Sabine. Right. Appreciate you guys' patience here. A little bit of technical issues there to start. Never fun. Sure, we can see both of these hands. So yeah, like we were talking about, a lot of space there in the opening hand for RebelResource. I would say a pretty interesting there a hand there from you can call me Al. He's got two Vaders, so he's gonna put one of them down and keep one. It looks like, which I quite like. Being able to have access to that, I play in hand. RebelResource doesn't run any of the sparks in the main deck. I'm not sure if he's gonna be sideboarding those in though, because he is so focused on dealing that damage quickly. We'll start off here with a Rebel Pathfinder, 2/3 with Saboteur for 2. And we'll see the Viper Probe. 3/2. Look at your opponent's hand. Very nice. And yeah, Al will look at that hand and see a wall of hurt. That's not a lot of fun units that you can play against. So we're on to round 2 here. There's no time restriction in this take the initiative format, so it's important for all these players to take as much time as they need to really get the right idea. You got to have a plan going into these turns on exactly what you want to do, especially if your opponent has a way to counter you out. So yeah, taking that time is crucial. And Al here thinking he's got some interesting options. I quite like the super laser tech without ECL as a play. Emperor's Royal Guard also not a bad option, but yeah, just something on the ground could be nice. Looking at RebelResource's hand now, he's put a lot of that space down as resources, so he's definitely aiming for the ground arena. All right, looks like we're going to see the Emperor's Royal Guard. A 3/4 won't have Sentinel right now, just because there's no officials, and we'll see the Rogue Operative come down. That is a 2/4 with Raid 2 and Saboteur. So extremely good in this matchup in particular. Be able to have that native Saboteur to avoid those Emperor's Royal Guard and Cell Block Guards, which aren't in Tarkin's main deck, but I'm sure we'll see those. So Sabine will ping us, and Tarkin will have the initiative, notably not swinging with the Viper Probe Droid. So he must have some trick up his sleeve here. And looking at this from Rebel's point of view, He's got some very important plays that he can do. He's got a red 3, which is a huge damage boost. He can also play K2 this turn. And of course, when you're playing these aggro decks, it's important to utilize your resources as efficiently as possible. So I think we'll probably see the K2 this turn, and then like a red 3 plus Fleet Lieutenant next turn to kind of shape things up. How to start things off. So he can hit the either unit really. He can play the Snowtrooper Lieutenant to get that extra damage to the Rogue Operative. I'm not sure what he's going to choose. I personally think the Rogue Operative is a great target to hit here. It also only uses 2 resources, so you could play the Snowtrooper Lieutenant, TIE Fighter, and use Tarkin's ability for an experience on that IRG to really make things happen. I think that's a good play good plan here. Looks like he's just going to go for that Rebel Pathfinder, though. Maybe he's wanting to play the uh, uh, Super Laser Tech this round. Also, not a bad play at all, since he will be able to get Tarkin out turn early. Tarkin, of course, does come out on 5 resources, so if he can, deal damage with the Viper Probe and then ECL Super Laser Tech, he will have uh, 2 resources, and he'll be able to deploy his leader this round, which will give him an official on the ground to give Sentinel to that Emperor's Royal Guard. It's going to give an experience here to the Viper Probe. That is still in line and a very good play to make sure he can take out that Rogue Operative without killing the Viper Probe. And it also makes it pretty dangerous to deploy Sabine so early. Um, so we will see RebelResource understand that threat and ping for an extra damage. And he really doesn't have to be too hasty about this move here. He doesn't have to attack with the Viper Probe. That is his plan. Then it can certainly work out here. He can deploy a TIE Fighter to force out another play from Rebel. While keeping 2 resources active for the Snowtrooper. It's a tough call, though, that's for sure. Tarkin, of course, is a 2/7, and when he attacks, he can give an experience to an Imperial unit. So we will see ECL Super Laser Tech here. Super Laser Tech hitting that Rogue Operative and killing himself, dealing 2 damage. Cat's out of the bag now. So even if Sabine does get an attack off this round, the Tarkin player will be able to finish off Sabine, and Viper Probe will stay alive. So there is some good plays here. I think you have to. Okay, so he's going to deploy Tarkin first, which will, of course, put the Sentinel in play. Sabine will kill that Sentinel, dealing 1 damage to the base and taking 3 damage. And so I think here you have the Viper Probe attack one of those units. It doesn't really matter, and then Tarkin attack the other one. Um, then you play a TIE fighter with an experience. So the experience coming from Tarkin's attack, either anything in that realm is pretty good, in my opinion. Looks like that's the idea that he's going for as well. And we will see K2SO deployed here. 4/4 Overwhelm, and when defeated, deal 3 damage or have an opponent discard a card from their hand. Definitely a strong, powerful unit. So now the Viper Probe's attack is a pretty interesting choice. Does he go for the K2 or does he kill one of those weakened units, stay alive, and then deal with the K2 next round? I think that's the strongest play that he can do. So we will see Tarkin go ahead and take out Sabine, taking 2 damage, giving an experience to a TIE Fighter. RebelResource will take the initiative, and we will see the Viper Probe taking care of that rogue operative. That was definitely a strong way to deal with all that aggressive board presence. And now we see the Tarkin player is running into a lot of those heal cards. So he's got some options here to deal with those, to deal with all this damage coming through. And honestly, he's not taken so much damage so far. RebelResource definitely wanted to put a little bit more damage through there, but was hindered a bit by that Sentinel unit and being taken out so early. We will see K2SO get a +2 for the phase. RebelResource will draw a card off of that, Heroic Sacrifice, and will. Interesting choice. He can go for the Tarkin kill, or he can kill the Viper Probe. Personally, I think either one is quite credible. If you go for the Viper Probe, you can push more damage through the base. Looks like that's the option he's going to go with. So 5 to the base, and K2SO will be defeated. But the Heroic Sacrifice was great there, since K2SO was going to be killed this round anyway. Tarkin will deal 2 to the base and give an extra experience to that TIE Fighter. Now he's a danger to that Millennium Falcon. Really all of that space that RebelResource has access to. I think he's potentially looking at a 5 damage turn here with the Fleet Lieutenant sneak attack play. He does like that. He's told me quite a bit about it. He was definitely the first one that I heard speak about it. So you can play sneak attack, and the Fleet Lieutenant can actually target himself to deal 5 damage to the base, which would be quite strong here. All he would need then is a For a Cause I Believe In. Making sure all of his ducks are in a row, and we are going to see that 5 damage to the base, which will kill the Fleet Lieutenant, so it doesn't have a lot of staying power, but being able to push that much damage through in a single turn, in a single action, is incredibly good. RebelResource here will take the initiative again, and that TIE Fighter will swing for 4 to the base. And so Fleet Lieutenant is dead. So assuming that Al doesn't play any green cards this turn for units, then he's not going to get any heal through that. He won't get heal from Consortium Star Viper this turn either. But that Traitorous is very powerful. All of the options that RebelResource has access to right now are 3 or less. So that Falcon plus red 3 is a way to get lethal this round. And okay, nice. So he's going to exhaust that TIE Fighter. Definitely preparing that space arena. Tarkin will kill the Leia and give an experience to the Colonel Yularen. Would have been actually a really good play to put on the Consortium Star Viper. But he's also got Traitorous to deal with that. No major worries. We will see that Star Viper go for 3 to the base. We will see Falcon deployed. And I think that will be instantly traitorous. Yep. And Rebel will take the initiative again. And we'll see 6 more damage come through to the base with the help of that new Falcon that Tarkin just acquired. In RebelResource's sideboard, he does have the Mandalorian Fang Fighter or disabling Fang Fighter. That is a remove an upgrade when when played for the unit. So he can use that to kind of counter out of the traitoresses and defeat all these experience tokens that Tarkin generates. So I'm pretty sure we will see that card brought in from the sideboard, but he doesn't have access to it this game. And not drawing for a cause I believe in yet is quite disturbing for him. That card is a auto win in this situation. But now I think he might be in trouble. I think you have to go with Chewie here if you are RebelResource. Getting that on the ground and basically shutting out your opponent's ground arena is quite nice. But he is going to scoop. Oh wait, no. Gonna play Chewie. I'm not sure what happened there with the traitoress. Oh, interesting. Okay, so since he didn't pay for the Falcon, it goes back to its owner's hand. Now I'm not sure there. Who has to pay the one? You guys know in chat? Would Tarkin have to pay the one for the Falcon, or would RebelResource have to pay the one for the Falcon? I've never run into that before. The controller. Okay, so it was on Tarkin to um, pay the Falcon's cost there, and I guess he decided not to. He wanted to play the reinforcement walker, so that seems logical. Um, Giving RebelResource outs though is interesting. I'm not sure I would have taken that exact line. He does have ways to deal with it with that Consortium Star Viper and the TIE LN. Oh, and I made an incorrect call on a previous turn where I said Tarkin could have given an experience to the Consortium Star Viper. It's not an Imperial unit, so he wouldn't have been able to do that. So he will take 7 damage in the air this round. Oh, he's going to go for initiative. Okay. And RebelResource will scoop off of that. Not drawing the cards he needed to see. And Tarkin definitely equalizing that position. to be able to deal with the aggressive units. Let's go over to Rebels list real fast. Tarkin will take it. We are 1-0 right now. Yeah, so let's take a look at Rebels list here real fast. So he's got some wolves to stop healing. He's got the disabling Fang Fire. He's got 2 of those as well to remove upgrades. And he has Bamboozle and Spark to get rid of cards from your opponent or to exhaust enemy units and remove upgrades. So I can see all of those being brought in. The problem is, how many uh, you know, non heroics do you want to bring in? So both Wolf and Disabling Fang Fighter are non heroic. We could see all 4 of those, and it wouldn't mess up his numbers too badly, especially if he replaces a sneak attack or surprise strike or something like that with Spark of Rebellion to give him more options there without really reducing his chances with for a cause I believe in. And then let's real quickly go over to Al's list here. I can definitely see that Consortium Star Viper coming in. Cell block guards coming in as well wouldn't be a bad option. Gladiators are also quite good to deal with big space threats and can give you Sentinel on a stick. So that'll stop whatever arena is dangerous. A lot of people were surprised by this Tarkin list. Um, not a lot of people running Tarkin Green right now in the meta. Like I said, Al is from the UK, so they kind of do things a little differently over there. But he is up right now, 1-0. So in a strong position to take uh, this series and move on to the top 4, where he would be playing against a Boba Green list. Master score. Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Nice. I played against it. I actually haven't played with it too much. I have played a Tarkin Red list and a Tarkin Blue. Uh, I will say I like Tarkin's ability. He is definitely, your ramping archetype, and well, that's kind of my favorite strategy. So it looks like we do see disabling Fang fighters. We do see a gladiator. So I think we're kind of spot on with both of these players, what they're thinking. You got to be able to deal with um, a lot of these things. RebelResource didn't have a fantastic hand there. He had 2 wing leaders and only 1 turn 1 play on the ground, so he couldn't arena dodge potentially. So I think he might be sending this back. Oh no, he's gonna go. So we will see Sabine Wren and a TIE fighter for Tarkin. RebelResource will take initiative, and 1 experience will go on that TIE fighter. We'll see the wing leader deployed, giving 2 experience to that Sabine. And we'll see a resupply come out for Tarkin. Sabine will go for 5 into the base. And we'll see Al take the initiative. Sabine pinging 1 to each player. So he's got a lot of wing leaders. It looks like he's got all 3 of them right now. So he might be going for some, maybe they're weaker in the air, but they still hit for 2, which is not nothing. And then they give out that all important 2 experience, and they've got a great target for it in that Sabine. Not the unit, but the actual leader, which can come out this round. We will see both Tarkin and Sabine potentially. ECL coming down first. Steadfast Battalion to take down that Sabine. It will take 4 damage. Wing Leader will swing for 2 into the base. We'll see Tarkin come down. It was a good choice there. So having to deploy that Steadfast before the Sabine could get an attack off for 5 is very nice. And this definitely makes things difficult for Rebel. His opponent is out of resources, but still got some deadly units on the board. Tarkin will swing for 2 into the base, and that allows Sabine to come out with no threat. TIE Fighter here can take out Wing Leader without dying now from that Tarkin experience. And we can see an interesting play here. Disabling Fang Fighter can remove the experience from the TIE Fighter and kill it, which is it's okay. Strong. I wouldn't call it the strongest play in the world, but I think the Wing Leader is definitely a good play. It doesn't take Sabine out of Steadfast Battalion range. So, a bit unfortunate there. But if Sabine chooses to target Steadfast, I guess that could be a play. I'm not sure, though. So we will see the Wing Leader. Tarkin takes initiative. Rebel probably just go into the base here for another 5 damage. There you go. And on to the next round. Oh, wow. And we do see an overwhelming barrage here, which can definitely clean things up. That will definitely take off the Sabine. And if he plays it right, so if he does the Steadfast Battalion into the base for 7, I guess. I'm not sure if that's a good play at all, actually. Hmm. He's in a rough position damage-wise on his base. So I think he has to take care of the Sabine first action here, just to ensure another 5 damage doesn't get through. So Steadfast into Sabine, 2 overwhelm damage to the base would be nice. It will kill the Steadfast, but he still has a good target in the TIE Fighter for overwhelming barrage. Knowing that Sabine is trying to get that damage through to the base, he probably won't be going for that TIE Fighter. So we will see the Steadfast into Sabine play, which won't let the other wing leader come down to take Sabine out of that range. Nice. That's a good play. Fang Fighter to kill the TIE Fighter. Strong action there. And he still is able to deploy that Green Squadron A-Wing, which gives him a nice space arena. I expect we'll see a overwhelming barrage still, since it can clear out the board. Um, if he does that, he can't play any cards this turn, so we might see a got rid of the traitorous. The Tarkin player did get rid of the traitorous, so we won't be seeing that. But we could see the Royal Guard and Consortium Star Viper. The problem with that play, of course, the lack of impact on the immediate board state. So Yularen is good because it does have that heal instantly. Ringleader will go 2 to the base. And we will see the Consortium Star Viper to heal another 1. Rebel's got an interesting call to make here. Does he want to go for that Green Squadron, or does he want to take the initiative? I'm in the opinion now that the initiative might be better, but if he gives up the initiative this round, then he could deploy the Sabine, or sorry, do the action on Sabine and deploy a Green Squadron A-Wing. But doing this allows him to safely take care of some of that restore power that Tarkin has. Tarkin drawing another overwhelming barrage, so very solid play. We'll see the okay. Looked like for a moment there he was going to attack that Star Viper. Odd choice there. Going with the Wing Leader first. Even though he gets 1 less damage on that base, and it makes it a less appetizing target for that Star Viper to attack. But we'll just see overwhelming barrage here to deal 5 damage and clear out the board. Green Squadron coming down. And we'll see Tarkin deal 2 to the base, giving another +1 counter to that Colonel Yularen. And we'll see the Falcon come in. Star Viper taking out the Falcon. And Sabine will ping for 1 damage to the base. Al making the correct choice, I think. So taking the initiative there, knowing that he won't have that Star Viper to deal with the space threats, this gives him some options to potentially avoid dying here. RebelResource drawing into the cards that he needed. We saw For a Cause I Believe In. I'm not sure why he put the card face down, but apologies for that. Traitorous first on that Green Squadron. And then we will see For a Cause I Believe In. 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage, 4. Getting rid of some of these more or less impactful units, and potentially looking to keep that K2 on top. If he draws another for a cause I believe in, there's a good chance. Oh, he's actually going to get rid of it. Really pulling for that other for a cause, since that will basically guarantee the game for him. So Falcon can come down now and deal a guaranteed 3 damage. If you're Al, you're in a rough spot here. Um, Almost forced to take initiative to enable Consortium Star Viper's heal 2. He's going to go for 3 damage on that Falcon. That Falcon can be pulled back into hand, which I think would be a good play to avoid an overwhelming barrage or something like that. And now he's got to make the tough choice. Does he go for the Falcon plus Sabine damage to deal 4 more to the base? Or does he take the initiative and potentially draw into a game winning card like a heroic sacrifice, like a surprise strike, or like a for cause I believe in? So, interesting choices here. Personally, I think Rebel should take the initiative now, given the option, because the 4 damage is. I would have left those fleet lieutenants on top of the deck, um, since that could have. I guess it doesn't work with Falcon, but yeah, that's tough. He is going to take the initiative. We will see 7 more damage come through for Tarkin, and there's the surprise strike for the game win. Rebel taking game 2 down. We're at a 1-1 in this series. On to game 3. Well played to both of those guys. I thought they looked at the game phenomenally. I think Tarkin should have taken the initiative there at the end instead of attacking with that A wing. But it's easy to be a critic from the commentator box without really being in the stressful position of the player. These guys have been working hard to get up into the series, and now they've got to really earn their place in the top 4. All of these players are extremely well put together with the game. So yeah, sometimes you got to make tough calls. I definitely think Rebel made the correct call there, going for the initiative. It's so important, and that's why the league is called Take the Initiative. It's not. That's not the reason, but yeah, it's an important thing for sure to know when to take the initiative and when to give it to your opponent. And I thought that he played that well. So game 3 is on. Who's going to take the series? It's all tied up right now. I definitely think the Sabine is slightly stronger. I would imagine somewhere in the 50 to 60% win rate against this Tarkin, just because going so much faster than your opponent is really good into these control matchups. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. Got a lot of strong units. Al will start things off with a Viper Probe, taking a look at his opponent's hand. Still a very strong card. So he will be able to look at those threats. And this is kind of where Sabine shines. So having he's got 3 turn 1 plays potentially, 2 really with the Sabine and the Green Squadron. So he can now arena dodge, which just means that since Tarkin deployed in the ground arena, he can deploy in the space arena and completely avoid conflict and try to stave it off for as long as possible. We don't see any space units in Al's hand here, which could be indicative of his kind of weaker hand into that. So the Green Squadron A-Wing here is definitely a good play. Sabine will also ping for 2. And there's a red 3 and a wing leader. So yeah, Sabine definitely taking advantage of this open space. But we do see Consortium Star Viper for Al. Thinking about resourcing that resupply could be could be a make or break decision there. I think it's good. The resupply is so slow, and you need all the time possible. We saw him do a resupply last game, and that ended up costing him quite a bit. The super laser tech, of course, having the ability to kill something or deal damage and then become a readied resource is much more impactful on the game. Looks like he's going to go for the Vader. And now Rebel has to make an interesting choice. Does he swing for that 3 damage, or does he go for red 3 for that? I think he swings first here, just to get a guaranteed 3. And then he could even deploy like a wing leader or something. Oh, my apologies. Of course, Al gets to go first. So we need to see the Consortium Star Viper take the A-Wing off the field and heal damage. Red 3 will counter deploy there. And You Can Call Me Al will take the initiative. Red 3, interesting choice there. Since it does die to the Consortium Star Viper, it will trade it out at least. But that 3 cost Star Viper definitely showing its value there. Being able to take out 2 very powerful early game units from Sabine and heal a damage as well is quite important. And we actually saw him RebelResource not even do the Sabine action after Tarkin took the initiative, just because he knew it was not going to do anything. It was just going to damage himself basically, since the Star Viper is going to heal off of this first attack. Looks like he's thinking about putting down the gunship. This one definitely in Tarkin's favor to start things off. And that's the value of that ECL. Deploying the Consortium Star Viper so early like that may not have looked super impactful, but it already has saved 5 damage on the base, and it's going to save at least 3 more damage this turn. So, just showcasing, why it's so good to have access to that ECL. Of course, 8 damage is greater than 5 for that total HP on the base. The only problem, of course, being that he can't heal above 25. With all his healing, I'm sure he would like to. Yeah, being able to go above 25 would be quite nice, but unfortunately, game does not work like that. RebelResource really taking his time here to making sure he's resourcing the correct card. And there we go. So we're going to see Command. Um, Interesting choice. Um, so he'll give 2 experience to that Consortium Star Viper and put it into play as a resource. We'll see the Azatuk Liberator gunship to deal 3 damage, or 4 damage with Raid, which will kill that Consortium Star Viper. And I think that was a bit of a misplay from Tarkin. Of course, not knowing that Rebel had that card in hand, but not killing the red 3. So, yeah, kind of an interesting choice there. Sabine will ping, and then we'll see 4 more damage come through with that Viper Probe. Al will take the initiative, and we'll see 3 more damage come through to the base for the Sabine player. We're going to see K2SO go down as a resource. Of course, he's very expensive, but he's a very good unit. Into this particular match, though, that Viper Probe could take him out in 1 hit, which wouldn't be ideal for how much he costs. 3 for the Emperor's Royal Guard. Of course, it's a 3/4 with Sentinel because of Tarkin. So it's a tough decision. Do you want to be greedy with the wing leader, or could he potentially kill the red 3 before you give him the experience, or before he could attack with the experience? Making the correct call is going to be good though for him here. I think we'll see a surprise strike for a total of 8 damage to that base, bringing Tarkin up to 16 already. And this is the kind of speed that you want to see out of a Sabine. Yeah, Command is a kind of interesting card. Of course, the main thing that I really liked about it, or I dislike about it, I should say, is the second line. A friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to a non-unique unit. Basically, every single card in Bean is going to be unique, or it's going to die in 1 hit anyway. So, and we do see 8 damage come through. Tarkin will attack Sabine for 2 damage and give an experience to that Emperor's Royal Guard, making it a 4/5. Bean here can hit the Emperor's Royal Guard anyway, just to deal an extra damage, or he could take the initiative. Obviously, I think the initiative is stronger here. Force them to take out your Sabine instead of killing it off yourself. Oh, but it's Al's action, so Al will take the initiative. In that case, I think killing off Sabine would be a good play to make sure you can use her ping ability next round. And here, I don't see an out for Al. I think he's in a weak spot. 8 more damage can come through for RebelResource this turn with the second surprise strike drawn. And I think that might be it, folks. I think RebelResource might have taken this one down. We'll have to see here. I don't see any instant healing power. Consortium Star Viper can't be ECL'd in. And that greedy play of the Command instead of going for the red 3 early on definitely comes back to haunt Al here. And I think that's pretty much GG. We can see the arena dodge in full effect here. Tarkin not getting a ton of use out of his Sentinels, not having access to pretty much anything good in the green-black villainy category for a Space Sentinel until you get to Gladiator, which of course is a 6-cost card. Could play it if he had it, but I believe he only had 2 copies in his sideboard. He might not have kept those in for the 3rd game here. Tarkin will deal 2 to the base, giving an extra experience. And surprise strike coming down. 8 damage to the base. And that's all she wrote. Well played to these guys. RebelResource clutching it up in the 2-3 games here. And I think there was that one miscalculation with the punning that really set things backwards uh, for Al, and I'm sure he would take that back if he wanted to, or if he could. But unfortunately, that's just how the cards turn sometimes. In that second game, Rebel did get a nice draw on that four cause I believe in, so it would have been a tough comeback for both of these. Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. If you like this kind of content, I'm always looking at new things to do. So for right now, I've been loving these Take the Initiative games. And if you want to see more of them, drop a little follow here. That way I know you like it. And look in the bio for this channel, and you can see a link to the Take the Initiative official YouTube if you would like to go ahead and watch more of these types of videos. You'll see a lot of me over there. So uh, thanks again for joining us. Congratulations to RebelResource, and we will see you for the next game. Ciao.